Hi, you're watching the Polyglot Engineer channel, and I'm going to be doing a video tonight to talk about building your own tools in Node.js. So one of the things that I thought was interesting lately was that we were talking about some of the different things that you could do with Node.js. I think a lot of people are familiar with it as being kind of like a back-end server tool, but you can also use it for building front-end tools. So for instance, like if you're using React, the Create React app, as a matter of fact, is a Node command line utility that you can use. Heroku's command line utility is actually built on top of Node.js as well. And so I wanted to do a quick video to talk about how you can build your own tools using some of these tools like Commander or OCLIF. So if you're not familiar with OCLIF, OCLIF is the framework that Heroku used to build their command line tool, and subsequently Salesforce has also used it to build the SFDX tool, which is a tool that their developers use to spring up new servers for testing and upload code and that sort of thing. So I ran into a need recently where I just needed to be able to gin up like a very simple Node.js project with, just bare minimum. I didn't need to use a tool like Yeoman or something else like that for generating a new project. I basically wanted to write my own tool. So I used OCLIF to do that. So I want to show you how I did that. So after you gin out a new project, it's going to create a class here with the name of your project. So the name of my project was Setup Node Project, and so what I did was it created a class called Setup Node Project Command when I went to gin this out, and then this extends their command class. And so there's a main function that runs inside of there that's called the run function. And as you can see, it's set up so that it's using the async, so you can do async and await if you need to be able to do synchronous stuff inside of your command line utility. And so for this project, what I needed to be able to do is I needed to be able to essentially create a folder. Inside that folder, I wanted to be able to essentially initialize npm, and then I needed to create a couple of files, and then one of the files, the package.json, I needed to manipulate that, add a different setting on there, and then at the end of everything, create a Git repo, and then add everything into the Git repo and do initial commit. So this is essentially how I did this. So basically inside this run function, what I did was I have all these different functions that I wrote for doing each one of those different tasks. So if we go and take a look at these, one of the first things I do is I run this create folder, and what that'll do is I'll create the folder if I want to create the folder. Right now I have a flag option where I can turn that on or off, and I'll show you why I did that in a second. Once I've done that, then the next thing I need to be able to do is to generate a new Mpm package, or project I should say. And in order to do that, I need to be able to use command line tools that I'm already using. So normally if you want to do that, you would do npm init or npm init-y. And so what I did was inside of Node.js, if you need to be able to run a command that you normally run on the command line, you can use this exec module, which is brought in through the child process module. And so what I did was I created an exec promise that takes in this arrow function, and then the arrow function, what I do is inside the resolve, what I do is I return back the standard output, and if there's an error, then I just use the reject to reject that out. So it's a pretty standard promise. Then once I've done that, now what I can do is I can actually come down, for instance, for doing the npm init, then what I can do is I can call this exec promise, and I can use the await, because promises and async await are interchangeable inside of Node.js. I'm also doing that for creating a new index file, so you can see I'm just doing a touch index.js. And I'm also creating a README file, and I'm just doing an echo to create a README file and piping that into readme.md. So this is all pretty simple, standard stuff. The other thing I'm doing is I'm creating a gitignore file because I know there's going to be certain Node project files that I don't want to include, like Node modules as an example. And so what I'm doing for that is I actually have a template that I've went ahead and saved into this project, and then I'm just copying that into this file here. So it's all pretty standard stuff. So if I want to run this, I'll show you what it looks like if I actually go to run this. What I'm going to do is I already have this installed, and so if we were to go here and take a look at the package.json, we can see that for the bin property, I have this SMP. So SMP is just short for Setup Node Project. So what I'm going to do is in here is I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to say SMP, and the flag that I use for setting the name, I can just do -n for the name, and I'm going to call this my test app. And then I'm going to do a -f, which basically says I want to create a folder. Rather than create this in my projects folder, which I don't want to do, I want it to actually generate out a new folder called my test app and put it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. And we can just see here that it created the gitignore file, it initted the project, created a new blank index file, and a readme file. So now if I cd into that, there we go, do an ls, and we can see I've got my readme file, I've got my index.js, and the package.json file. And if we want to take a look at the gitignore file, I can say cat.gitignore, and there's my gitignore file. So that is how I did that. To install and run this locally, all you have to do is just do an npm install -g, and it'll install it globally, so you can test it globally on your system. But this is one of the tools that I use to automate certain tasks I need to automate using Node.js. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can give it a thumbs down, but please just give it a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm so I can do more videos like this. So with that, have a nice evening.